All right, so ready to dive into what's going on around the world. We've got a pretty interesting mix of sources lined up for today's deep dive.
Definitely a variety.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the BBC World Service, the documentary podcast,
Oh, nice.
and then we're going to dive into a historical mystery with the Smithsonian Magazine.
Oh,
And we're even going to take a quick glance at the history of comedy on Wikipedia.
sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it should be a good time. A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the documentary podcast. I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it's really a treasure trove. I mean, just glancing through their episode list,
Yeah.
they cover so much ground.
Global.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, right away, just looking at it, we've got episodes on the plight of Hindus in Bangladesh, the impact of development around Cambodia's Angkor Wat, and even the potential fallout from Russia losing its Syrian bases.
Wow.
Talk about a world tour.
That's the tagline of the podcast, right? A window into our world.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, and I think they deliver on that.
Yeah. I mean, they really do hit a lot of different.
Angles.
Yeah.
And, like the thing about the new Argentinian president and their plans to slash the state budget,
Oh, yeah.
that could have ripple effects across continents, not to mention the global economy.
It's a good reminder that things that happen over there, like you were saying, can really.
Get close to home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not all doom and gloom, though, right? I mean,
Oh, no.
they've also got some episodes that explore cultural trends, like the global popularity of K-dramas,
Yes.
what's trending in Bollywood,
I love it.
little escapism, never hurt anyone, right?
I think what's so valuable, though, going beyond the headlines, is that, they really dig into the nuances of these cultural trends, right?
Yeah.
Like the Bollywood episode, for example. It's not just about, what movies are popular, but it's about understanding what those trends reveal about Indian society as a whole and its evolving values.
Oh, for sure. And it's not just telling you about it, they really take you there. I mean, they have these segments, in the studio and the
Yeah.
fifth floor,
Yeah.
where they're interviewing artists and filmmakers and, everyday people.
Yeah, straight from the source.
Yeah, you get to hear the story straight from the source.
Yeah, like the episode featuring Olympic and Paralympic trailblazers.
Oh, yeah.
Those stories of personal triumph and resilience, it's
So inspiring.
incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, so the documentary podcast clearly gives us a lot to think about when it comes to global news culture.
Totally.
But let's shift gears a little bit to something completely different.
Okay,
A real-life historical mystery.
love it.
The Smithsonian Magazine article on the discovery of the USS Juno wreck.
Whoa.
This one gives me chills.
Oh, tell me about it.
So the USS Juno, it's particularly poignant, especially because
It's the ship that
it's the ship where the 5 Sullivan brothers
perished together
all perished together during World War II.
during World War II.
And I mean, talk about a story that captures the devastating human cost of war.
Really drives it home.
Oh yeah, it's and the fact that they discovered it on St. Patrick's Day
Oh, wow.
adds another layer to it,
Yeah, it was meant to be found.
Almost feels fated, doesn't it?
It does.
And it wasn't just a lucky find either. They were, the article mentions that the research vessel, the RV Petrel, which was funded by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, was specifically searching for the Juno.
Wow.
And it was resting on the ocean floor at a depth of about 2.6 miles.
That's dedication.
That's dedication, yeah.
I mean, the RV Petrel has actually been instrumental in locating numerous other shipwrecks, too.
Oh, wow.
It's transformed our understanding of maritime history.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing what technology can do when it's paired with passion and a thirst for knowledge, right?
Absolutely.
Speaking of, our next source takes us from the depths of the ocean to the vast and often hilarious world of comedy.
All right.
We've got the Wikipedia entry for history of comedy.
Okay.
It's pretty short, actually.
Really? That's ironic, isn't it? A topic with such a rich and complex history, and it's just a simple disambiguation page.
Yeah, you think it'd be pages and pages long.
You would think so.
Yeah, strange. Yeah, it really is strange. You'd think there'd be more to say
Right.
about the history of comedy, all the
Yeah.
different, styles and how they've evolved over time.
Well, I think that kind of speaks to how just massive and multifaceted the subject is.
Yeah.
Comedy is interwoven with so many aspects of human culture,
Right.
social norms, politics,
Yeah.
even our understanding of the human condition itself.
Wow.
It's almost too big to cover concisely.
Yeah, I guess you could say the joke's on us if we thought we could sum it up in a single Wikipedia entry.
Right.
Well played.
Maybe it's a challenge, like to dig deeper, to explore those different branches of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, think about it like slapstick humor
Yeah.
has very different roots than, say,
Oh, yeah.
satire or dark comedy.
Full will.
And how those forms differ across cultures is fascinating in itself.
That's true. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
From global news and cultural trends
Yeah.
to a historical mystery and even the elusive history of comedy. What stands out to you from all of this? Anything that really made you think?
I think what's really striking to me is how each of these sources, in its own way, reveals the power of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's journalists reporting on the ground, historians piecing together the past,
Yeah.
comedians finding the humor in the everyday.
Yeah.
They're all shaping our understanding of the world.
I agree. And it's not just about being informed either. It's about empathy.
Yeah.
You know, like hearing those firsthand accounts from the BBC podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
especially in episodes like the one about Syrian prisoners.
Right. Those stories really stay with you.
Well, they do. It makes those issues feel real, tangible, human.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to read about, statistics
Right?
or political analysis,
Exactly.
but it's another to actually hear somebody's personal experience.
It makes you realize that these global events aren't just headlines. They're impacting real people's lives.
They are.
And in a world that can sometimes feel so overwhelming and disconnected,
Yeah.
those personal narratives have the power to bridge divides and foster understanding.
They really do. Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to go back to the documentary podcast for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone out there is looking to stay informed and engaged with what's happening in the world, this podcast is a must listen.
Absolutely. It's like a window into a different world each episode.
Yeah.
And with its diverse range of topics, there's something for everyone.
There is.
I mean, where else are you going to hear about the dogs of Palermo in one episode?
I know, right?
And then the science behind ACL injuries and female athletes the next.
I know, and they're not afraid to tackle tough issues either.
No.
Like the episode on the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral after the fire.
Yeah.
It's not just about the rebuilding process. It's about the stories of hope and resilience surrounding that event.
Exactly. It's about understanding the human impact. And I think that's what makes the podcast so special.
Yeah.
It doesn't just inform you, it makes you feel something.
Yeah, so for anyone feeling a little lost or disconnected from the world, I say give the documentary podcast a listen.
I agree.
It might just change your perspective.
It's a reminder that even in a world that can feel increasingly divided,
Yeah.
we're all connected by shared experiences, challenges, and aspirations.
It really does, just highlight how even though we might be physically separated by, distance and borders,
Yeah,
there are all these shared human experiences
for sure.
that kind of connect us all.
Yeah, I think that sense of interconnectedness is something that we've kind of seen throughout this whole deep dive today.
Yeah.
Whether we were talking about global events, cultural trends, or even the history of comedy,
Yeah.
it all comes back to the human experience.
Right, and even like with that Smithsonian article about the USS Juno,
Yeah.
like on the surface it's about a shipwreck, but when you dig deeper, it's about sacrifice and brotherhood and the enduring impact of historical events.
Yeah, it's about remembering those who came before us and honoring their stories. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that the documentary podcast does really well,
Mhm.
is it brings those stories to life
Yeah.
and makes them feel relevant and relatable to our lives today.
It does. Okay, so
Yeah.
before we officially wrap up here, any final thoughts for our listeners out there who've been with us on this journey?
I would say if anything we talked about today piqued your interest,
Mm-hmm.
don't let that curiosity fade.
Yeah.
Take that spark and run with it, do some more research, explore different perspectives,
Yeah.
see where it leads you.
Yeah, don't just passively consume information.
Right.
Go out there and engage with it.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe you'll discover your own passion for global affairs.
Exactly.
Or uncover a hidden historical gem, or even find yourself laughing along to a new style of comedy.
The world is full of fascinating stories,
Yeah,
just waiting to be discovered. All you have to do is open your mind and start exploring.
that's a great way to put it. All right, that officially wraps up our deep dive for today.
Awesome.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep asking questions.
Couldn't have said it better myself.